Deep breaths in, expanding the belly, expanding the rib cage and the chest. And exhale, feeling that release. Becoming aware of your body again. Trying to keep that breath as long as you can without pushing anything. We're going to move into the physical practice now. So if the legs are long in front of you, just bringing the soles of the feet on the floor, just so that the knees are bent. Again, making sure that the neck is nice and comfortable, the chin isn't tucked in too much, the shoulders are relaxed. And just have a little wiggle of those knees from side to side, just starting to warm up into the back of your hips. Palms of the hands can be on the floor here. And then just bringing the knees back to center. Again, let the shoulders relax. And we're going to bring that right leg in towards us. So just taking the right knee in towards you to start with. Now that left leg can be bent if you like, or you can start to straighten it if you want an extra stretch in that left leg. We're going to take the strap, wherever it is, pop it onto the sole of the right foot, and then just take the strap into the right hand and just start to send the right foot up towards the ceiling. So we're straightening that right leg. Have the left hand on the floor next to you. And again, just try to keep the back of the hips on the floor as you just start to straighten into that leg. And you might kind of move it forwards and backwards a little bit just to find where that stretch is. And then just coming to find a bit of stillness wherever feels good for you. So the left leg can be either bent or straight. And trying to keep the back of the hips on the floor, we're just going to take that right leg over to the right side. So we're creating a little bit of a V, a little bit of a stretch here. So you might take the nose to look over towards the left side here, if that feels comfortable. If it doesn't, keep looking up towards the ceiling. And then let's bring the right leg back towards you. Bring the nose back up towards the ceiling and take the strap into the left hand. Right hand comes on the floor. And again, you're just letting that leg come over to the side. So you might find that the back of the right hip comes off the floor here. It might feel comfortable. It's okay as long as you're getting a nice stretch. And then we're coming all the way back to center. And we're going to bring that right knee in towards us now. So we're hugging the knee in towards us. And we're re-bending the left leg. I'm taking my ankle and I'm placing it just above the knee to come into figure of 4. So you're kind of opening now into the right thigh, hands on the floor. And again, a little rock from side to side here. Lovely. So this might be enough for you now. You might want to take this a bit deeper. You might want to bring that left heel a bit closer to your bottom. You might want to take your right thumb and just push it in between the little part where the hip and the upper leg meet. So you create a little bit of space there. If that feels okay, if you've got a bit more space, you might want to lift the left leg up. So we're moving into that right hip. And if this feels okay, just holding yourself around the back of the left leg, and you might want to straighten it. So you can come through any of those movements. You can have the leg straight, the left leg straight or bent, or even on the floor, just using your thumb to kind of like open that right hip a little bit more. Taking a few deep breaths in and out of the hips here. And then we're just going to cross that right leg over the left, as if you're kind of crossing your legs sat at a desk. And we're going to just slowly just move the hips a little bit over towards the right side. And you can let that right foot come onto the floor. You can let the knees come onto the floor if you want to. If that's too much on the lower back, uncross the legs and just let yourself come to that nice supine twist. Again, nose can look up towards the ceiling, or you can look over towards the right shoulder. Take 3 deep breaths in and out here. Send that breath wherever you need the space. And really enjoy releasing. So enjoy that exhalation. When you've taken the 3 breaths in and out, nose comes back up to the ceiling. If the legs are crossed, you might want to uncross them and bring yourself back to center and just find that central position to start with. Maybe bring the knees in towards you a little bit. Maybe have a bit of a rock from side to side. And we're going to take that all the way to the other side. So I'm just going to change ends here so it's a little bit easier for you to see. Making sure that the back of the hips are nice and neutral on the floor, the neck is nice and long. So this time we're going to bring the left knee in towards you. You might want to start to straighten that right leg. You might have the right leg bent. We're taking the strap around the bottom of the left leg. Strap comes into the left hand, right hand next to you for support. And then starting to straighten that leg, sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. Again, just making sure the back of the body's nicely connected with the ground. And you might just take a few movements here. So taking the leg kind of down and up again. If you don't have a strap, you can just hold on to the back of your thigh. Strap or a scarf, just holding on to the back of the thigh. And then just come to stillness and just find that extra breath to just create a nice stretch. With that right leg either bent or straight, we're using the right hand to support us as we take the left leg to the left side. And we're using the core as well to keep the back of the body, keep both hips in connection with the floor as we open that left leg to the left side. So let's take that leg back to center. We're going to swap hands now. Left hand comes on the floor for support and you're just taking that leg over towards the right side. You can bend it if you need to. Do whatever feels nice here to find a nice stretch or some kind of movement which feels good for you. Coming all the way back to center. And we're going to bring that left leg in towards you. Releasing the strap. Just pop that on the floor next to you. Give that leg a hug in towards you. If the right leg is straight, we're going to bend the right leg again. Cross the left leg over the right as if you're, before we go into, we're coming into figure of 4 first of all. So we're taking the left ankle above the right knee. Have a little bit of a rock across the back of the hips here. And then just coming to stillness again, let those shoulders relax. And you might want to bring your right heel towards your right bottom, to the right button. You can take your left thumb now and just start to kind of massage almost that area where the leg and the hip meet. So just creating a little bit of space there, and it might feel different on this side. So if you've got space there and you want to start to lift up your right leg, you can bring the knee in towards you and you can take the hands around the back of the right leg. So make sure the chin isn't starting to jut up here because you'll want to do that. And then we're straightening the right leg. If you want to, don't have to. You can have that right leg on the floor if it feels better. Take a few deep breaths in and out here. So you might be here with a straight right leg. The right leg might be bent, or it might be on the floor, and you're just using that left thumb to open up the left hip. Wherever we are, we're re-bending that right leg, sole of the foot on the floor. And this time we're crossing the legs. So we're almost sat at a desk, that sort of cross of the legs. Just shifting those hips a little bit over to the left side. And then you can let the legs fall to the right side. You can have that left foot come on the floor. You can let the legs release. If it's too much, bending both knees, coming to the side. Nose can go up towards the ceiling. Nose can go over the left shoulder. Take 3 deep breaths in and out here, sending the breath wherever you need it most. Really enjoying creating that space as you inhale, and enjoy that beautiful release as you exhale. When you've taken the 3 breaths in and out, you can uncross the legs if they're crossed, whatever's easiest, just to come back to center again. Nice long spine, knees in towards you, maybe a rock from side to side. So while we're here, just let those shoulders wriggle around a bit. Give the jaw a little bit of a wriggle. Release your feet and come over onto one side. Just making sure that you're supporting your head on one side, so the neck is nice and supported. And then we're going to push the hands into the floor and just push ourselves up so the head and the neck come up last of all into a nice, comfortable seated position. So legs might be in front of you here. You might be sat on a blanket. You might be on a chair. That's fine as well. You might be cross-legged. It's entirely up to you. Just take a moment now just to let yourself arrive. So your sit bones are nicely connected with the ground and you're lifting through your spine. So if you can help it, if it doesn't cause discomfort, try not to be rounding in the back. Try to be lifting through the torso so the crown of the head goes up towards the ceiling. So when you're ready, just taking a couple of rolls backwards of the shoulders. And then just take a couple of rolls forwards. And then just coming to stillness. And you can bring the head so the chin comes to the chest. And then roll the chin along the collarbone so you're looking over to the right side. So you can feel a stretch in the left side of the neck. Let those shoulders relax. And then bring the chin back to the chest. Taking the nose along the collarbone, so chin along the collarbone to look to the left. Shoulders relax. Bring the chin back to center. Take the hands to your heart center. And we'll take a nice big deep inhale as we take the arms all the way overhead. Reach into those fingertips, feel that beautiful stretch. Take another breath in if you can here, and then as you exhale, take those arms nice and wide. We're going to do another little exercise with the strap now. So just moving into the shoulders. We're holding quite a lot of tension in the shoulders lately, I should imagine. So we're just trying to do something to create strength in the shoulders and create mobility, which hopefully will help us release a little bit of tension. If it's too much for you, then you can bring the hands in front of you as we move them, or even the hands on the shoulders. So taking your strap so that the hands are about shoulder distance apart, and we're kind of pulling it apart as well, so it's quite taut. So you're starting to really feel the shoulders move apart. So we're going to take an inhale, take the arms overhead. Reach into the fingertips, and then exhale, just moving from the shoulders, bring the hands back to shoulder height. So we're pulling that strap apart. So we're inhaling up, exhaling down. Really nice deep breaths in and out. Inhaling, keep pulling the strap apart. Exhale. 2 more of these. Inhale, if there's no strap, just moving the arms up and down as you inhale and exhale. And this time we're going to inhale, taking the arms all the way overhead. Now it gets a little bit trickier. We want to really move into the shoulder girdle. By the shoulder girdle, I mean the collarbones, the shoulder blades, the whole girdle. So we're going to start to push into that strap. So we've still got the arms overhead, and we're just starting to take the shoulders into rotations in one direction. So you're really moving from the shoulders. And then we'll take them back in the opposite direction. So I'm trying to keep my arms as straight as I can as I move into those shoulder joints. Reaching up as high as you can, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bring that strap in front of you, and then bring your chin to your chest. Push the arms forward, pull that strap tight. And then you can release the strap. So we're just going to take the hands on the knees now. Just roll up your spine. Give the shoulders a roll when you arrive. And then just allow them to relax. We're going to take ourselves into some circles. So if the legs are in front of you, take them a little bit wider. If you're sat on a chair, just have the legs so they're wide and the toes are attended to. Cross legs, hands come onto your knees. And we're just going to take a couple of circles now in one direction. So really move into those hips. And then coming to the front now, just allow the chin to come to the chest. Open the back of the shoulders and send those elbows wide. Coming to look back up again and taking those circles back in the opposite direction. So remember to breathe here, and you'll find probably that there are places where you've got a bit of stickiness here, where you need to take an extra breath. Coming back to the front again, we're going to take that stretch again. So elbows go wide, hands come onto the hips, bring the chin to the chest, so the back of the body is open. And then slowly from the lower back, we're just going to roll up the spine, take the arms overhead on an inhalation. Interlace them behind your head and take a deep breath in, looking up towards the ceiling as we inhale, and as we exhale, rounding the back, elbows together again, opening the back of your body, shoulders relaxed here. Inhaling, coming all the way back up again, open the elbows, shoulder blades together, sitting up nice and straight. You can send those shoulder blades really towards each other, opening the elbows. We're going to go down again. So we're opening the back of the body, suck the belly in, push the back of the body towards the back of the room. And then inhaling, coming all the way up again. Open those elbows, let everything relax. And let's just take a little massage of the head now. So the tips of the fingers onto the head. All of those little muscles in our head that give us a headache sometimes when we're tense. Just don't worry about your hair, no one can see you. Just giving yourself a little massage all over with the tips of the fingers, maybe even across the front of your forehead, maybe even into your temples. Lovely. So one more nice big stretch overhead, arms coming overhead. And then bringing them to your heart center. Let's move on to all fours. So just getting ready now to move into cat-cows and variations of cat-cows. We're going to come onto all fours. Again, Blanket under the knees if there's any issues with the knees. Fingers are nice and wide. Find your nice strong position. You can tuck the toes if the feet feel like they need a bit of a stretch. And then just start to move into the cat-cow. So you might want to close your eyes here, but just start to move how you need to. And also breathe as you need to. So often I'll say inhale as you send your bottom up to the ceiling, belly to the floor, looking up, inhaling, and exhaling as you round your back. But for today, you might find that inhaling as you round your back will send the breath into the back of the body. And you might want to exhale as you look forward. Maybe close your eyes. Maybe start to move into the shoulders a bit more. We're going to think about our wrists a little bit, especially for those of you who've been at a desk a lot working from home. So we're going to keep moving, but we're going to send the fingers so they go out to the side. So left fingers to the left side, right fingers to the right side again. Just maybe taking some cat-cows here. You might want to bend the elbow. Any discomfort, bring them back to center. And then let's move those hands again. So the fingers face in towards each other. Maybe this is a different take. You might bend the elbows a little bit more. You might straighten into them. And then bringing those hands back so that the fingers are facing forward. Let's take a stretch to the side. So we're just going to take the head to look over the right shoulder, send the right hips towards the right side, feel the stretch in the left side. And let's round the back in the middle now. Hips to the right side, looking over the right shoulder. Moving back to center, just thinking about taking the last few movements here in your cat-cow. So whatever you need, you might be taking hips back, you might be moving into the shoulders, you might be taking side stretches. There might be circles in the hips. Find where you need to be, find where you need that space, use that breath to send to that space. And then when you're ready, just thinking about just coming down into a nice, comfortable child's pose. So just finishing off your sequence, you let yourself arrive and finish when you need to. Knees can go wide and toes can come together. You might have a bolster that you want to use. If you're a little bit tight in the fronts of the thighs, you might pop the bolster underneath your bottom. You might pop the bolster, just to show you, underneath your head. So just taking a few breaths here. Let the hips sink into the heels. Let the back of the body open. You can have a little wiggle in here if you want to. Just be aware that that neck and that jaw and those shoulders are relaxed. Those of you who are happy to take a little stretch into threading the needle with the shoulders in your extended child pose, you can take your right arm underneath the left, come onto the right shoulder and relax here. If for you that's a little bit too much on the legs, you're keeping the hips high and you're taking the hand underneath the shoulder, hips are high. Send the hips a little bit further back if there's any issues with your neck. So you're not putting any weight on the neck. And wherever you are, you might want to reach that left arm in front of you for an extra stretch. Left arm comes underneath you, coming all the way up again. And you can either be, again, still in your child pose or with the hips high as you take the left arm underneath the right, stretching into that right arm. Might feel different on this side. Bringing the right arm back underneath you. And then let's slowly just make ourselves come into an upright position. So when you do, give those shoulders a little bit of a roll, maybe take a couple of stretches in the head. You might be up here, it might be more comfortable for you up here. Let everything settle for a moment. And then we're going to come all the way up to standing. You might want a bolster or some pillows or cushions in front of you, or even a block, because we're going to have a little bit of a forward fold in as when we come up. So coming all the way up to standing, however is best and most comfortable for you. And just let yourself come to a nice position, standing, palms come in front of you, and just think about, again, lifting through your body. So we're just going to lift the toes off the floor. It's always good to just exercise those toes and replant them on the floor. And then moving on to the tiptoes, we're going to just start to reach up and take the arms overhead. Finding that balance here, if you can. My balance isn't very good today, yours might be good. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely. Taking the hands to shoulder height, bend your knees, and we're going to bring the arms in front of us into chair pose. Knees are coming over your feet, reach into your fingertips. You might want to take the arms together here. You might want to look up. If the shoulders are a little bit stiff, take the arms apart. Sink nice and low. Hold it here. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, straighten up. Palms together to the heart center. Let's take the legs nice and wide now. So the legs are coming wide. Let's take the arms to shoulder height. We're going to come to warrior 2. So I'm taking my right toes towards the side of the mat, my left toes towards the front of the mat. I'm lifting up through my spine, taking a deep breath in and bending that front knee. So try not to lean forwards here. Try to stay nice and upright. That back foot is equally connected with the floor. And if it feels okay, you're looking over your front fingertips. You're holding it here and you're breathing. So we'll take a little bit deeper stretch now. Left arm comes onto the leg, right arm up towards the ceiling. Keep pushing that right foot in, left foot into the floor. You might want to look up. You might want to look down. So you're pushing that right foot, into the floor as you come all the way up again. Look over the front fingertips. And then taking the arms all the way overhead. We're going to bring them to the heart center now and take both feet now to face towards the side of your mat. Coming into goddess. Take those feet so they're there at 10 to 2. Let's find star pose. Reach up into star. Tiptoes if it feels okay for you. If that you're off your heels, release the feet, arms overhead, and finding your star pose. So kind of feel as though you're opening the thighs. Feel as though you're lengthening through your spine and you're sending your bottom down to the ground. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely. Let's inhale, straighten the legs. Find yourself for a nice big stretch into star pose. Tiptoes if you want to. And then releasing the heels. Let's take the hands onto the hips so we get the feet right. So left toes towards the side of the mat, right toes towards the front of the mat. Arms come up to shoulder height. Bend that right leg. Stack it over the ankle. Trying not to lean forwards. We're lengthening through the spine. If you want to take it a bit deeper, straighten the front leg. Creep those toes forward. Rebend. holding it here. Keep that back foot connected with the ground. Nice and open in the chest. We're going to extend the side angle. So we want to reach forwards a little bit. Right hand comes onto the right knee, thigh, and lifting up. So really think about lifting up. Lifting up as much as you can. Keep that front knee over the ankle. For 1, 2, keep breathing. 3, 4, and 5. Lovely. Push into that back foot, coming all the way back up again. Take the arms to shoulder height, and then we're just going to take them onto your hips. So both toes now face forward. Give yourself a little bit of a roll of your shoulders. Chin's parallel with the floor. Bend the knees if you have to. We want to create length in the spine here. So inhale, lift and lengthen your spine. Exhale, we're going to fold forward. You might be taking the hands onto the bolster or onto a chair, even if the chair is in front of you. Might be taking the hands onto the knees. They might even come onto the floor. Taking 3 breaths in and out here. We're going to come to a flat back now to find a little bit of length in the spine. So again, hands might come onto the bolster or on the floor or onto the thighs, onto the shins, sorry. We're going to lengthen forward, pull the belly button in. Crown of the head comes forward. So again, the neck is an extension of the spine. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, fold forwards. You might want to stay here. You might want to take it a little bit deeper by walking the hands over to the right side and holding onto the right leg. And then just bringing the right side of the body onto the right leg for 3 breaths. Releasing those hands back to center. Take a little bit of a lengthen forwards again. Deep breath in. And then folding back down again, hands over to the left side. 3 breaths here as you release your torso down the left leg. Hands come onto the floor again. Move them forwards. Last breath in here as you lengthen forwards. And then bend your knees a little bit. Allow your head to move towards the floor. Let yourself flop. So you might take opposite elbows, let the head flop, bend the knees. Maybe sway from side to side. And then you can release your hands and we're going to slowly roll up the spine again. So head and neck come up last of all, coming all the way up. Taking one final big stretch overhead. And then take those hands to your heart center. Just roll those shoulders back. And we'll take a little balance before we come back down onto the floor. So the balance really wants us to slow down as much as we can. So what we want to do is just find a nice bit of strength in wherever the body is. Feet connected with the ground, legs are strong, core is engaged, and the spine is long. But what we really want to do is slow the mind down. And the mind wants to wander everywhere. Sometimes when the eyes are wandering, that means we're thinking. So let's find somewhere to focus the eyes, maybe on the wall in front of you, maybe on the floor in front of you, just so that you can just steady the eyes, find a drishti, find a focus. We'll move into whatever variation of tree is for you today. So if you want to just pop yourself onto the floor and off your mat, you can. So you want to make sure we've got that nice strong spine, nice strong and long spine. So let's take the arms overhead to start with. Bring them to heart center. Keep taking that tailbone towards the ground and then start to transfer the weight over onto the left leg. And we're just going to bring that right knee in front of us. And today you might have the toe on the floor, or you might be lifting that leg up so the knee's parallel with the hip. And when you've found kind of a bit of a balance here, you can bring that foot onto the lower leg, or even the toes can come onto the floor. Or those of you who are feeling particularly balanced today, you might want to take that foot to the upper leg. Keep the tailbone towards the floor. And if you want to take the arms overhead, you can. Reach into the fingertips, let that spine lengthen for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take a deep breath in, release the hands, and release your leg. Lovely, so let's take that to the other side. Again, we want the feet connected, legs are strong, nice long spine. Take the arms overhead, find the length in the spine, find the core engagement, hands to heart center. Transfer the weight onto the right leg, might be different this side. Most importantly, we're finding a drishti, somewhere to focus the eyes, and then bring the knee either up to hip height, toe can be on the floor. If you want to find your tree on this pose, lower leg, upper leg, or toes on the floor. This might be fine for you. Keep lifting, or you might take the arms overhead. For 1, 2, 3, keep breathing, 4 and 5. Releasing those hands. Releasing your leg. Make a stretch, do what you need to do. Maybe take a rotation of the hips. We're coming back down onto the floor. We're going to take a nice gentle shoulder release again, and then we'll find our final Shavasana. So however you want to come down onto the floor, do so. The shoulders are a bit tight. Take behind you something like a pillow, a bolster, a little bit of height. And then we're coming back down onto the floor. Knees are bent. And we're just going to roll down the spine. So if you want to work into your core, you can take the arms in front of you and slowly, slowly, slowly roll down your spine. You might just want to take the hands on the floor and let yourself arrive on the floor. Let's check where we are now. Soles of the feet on the floor. Feet are about hip distance apart. We're going to come into our bridge pose. So we're going to take a couple of pelvic tilts to start with. The back of my neck is nice and long, but my chin isn't tucked in too much. Let's take 4 pelvic tilts. On the 5th, we'll lift the hips nice and high. When we lift them high, we're going to take the arms overhead to really release those shoulders as well. So you might need something behind you, you might not. Usually when we lift the hips, it will kind of release the shoulders a little bit anyway. So let's take those pelvic tilts. If you want to, on the inhalation, lift the Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor, then you can. So let's inhale. Push the lower back into the floor, feel the engagement in the lower belly. Exhale, release. For 3 more of those. And then on the 4th one, we lift. So working with your own breath. Working to lift that pelvic floor if you need to. So we've taken 4 of those. Or whenever you've taken 4 of those. Then you can lift your hips nice and high. Try to keep those knees, if you can, over the ankles. We're looking up towards the ceiling, so don't pay any attention to what I'm doing with my neck. You're looking up towards the ceiling, you've got a nice long spine. Arms come overhead. Taking some nice deep breaths in and out here. 5 breaths in and out. Shoulders relax on that exhalation. Use the strength in your bottom to send the hips high. And when you've taken those 5 deep breaths in and out, take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, really visualize every single vertebrae touching your mat. And then you bring your hands down, bring your knees in towards you. Maybe take some circles with the knees, maybe have a rock from side to side. Maybe take a couple of circles with the ankles or the wrists. And then it's up to you to find wherever your Shavasana is. So you might want to stretch into the fingers, the hands. You might want to stretch into the legs. And then allow yourself to come to Shavasana. Knees might be bent. Legs might be long. Palms might be up. Palms might be down. Let your body completely release. Find a blanket. Find wherever you need to be. And again, as you arrive, just let that body be supported. Allow your body to completely release into the ground and be completely supported by the earth beneath you. And as you start to just find that Shavasana, again, you might feel that you need to move into those places that we love to grip onto that tension, the hips, the shoulders, the jaw. Maybe give the jaw a wiggle. And then just let yourself completely release. So allow yourself to just sink into the ground. Allow yourself to be supported. Allow yourself, if you need to right now, to send your breath to wherever you need release. And you might find that you need release in the mind. So send your breath up to your mind. You might find that you need that release from the emotions, sending the breath maybe to the second brain, the gut, the diaphragm. Or you might find that you need that release in somewhere physical. So sending a couple of breaths there. And then just allowing yourself just to be. So with the softness of your body, just allow yourself to be completely present in your moment. The mind is not wandering. The mind is focused on you, your body, and your breath. And because there's so much going on, if you do find that your mind starts to wander, just bring yourself into a little breathing exercise. You can think about taking yourself into 4-8 breath. So you can think about using the count of your breath to keep yourself centered, to keep yourself present. You will inhale for the count of 4 and exhale for the count of 8. Now, if an exhalation for the count of 8 is too much, you can inhale for the count of 3 and exhale for 6. So just try to be as present as you can now. And if the mind starts to wander, bring it back to the breath and the count and control of your breath in the present moment. And you might find that the natural rhythm of the breath has started to slow down. And the mind is as present as it can be. So you can just start to be aware again of sensations in your body. And you can start to become aware again of maybe those sensations that connect you with the world around you. So I can hear the birds at dusk now. I can hear some birds in the distance. And just the general noises of nature outside. So just let yourself be present with those noises, that stillness of nature, and those sensations that allow you to be present. For these moments, don't let the mind wander yet. Just stay with your body and your breath and your senses. And then when it feels right for you, you can maybe start to move into your fingers and your hands and your wrists. You might want to stay in your Shavasana to close your practice, in which case that is absolutely fine. You might just want to take a few movements. You might want to move into the toes and the feet and the ankles. And you might want to take a stretch overhead. And wherever you are, wherever you want to close your practice, you can be. So those of you who want to come up to seated to close your practice, you might want to take the knees in towards you and roll onto the side. You might want to come up however you want to. I'd suggest gently. You come up gently. Just make things a little bit nicer for you to get ready to go to bed, hopefully after. So those of you, when you arrive at your comfortable seat, or if you're still in your Shavasana, just take a moment again just to be still with yourself before you let the rest of the world into your present moment. And if you're seated, you might want to take hands to heart center, and you might feel some lovely energy between the palms, and you might want to use that energy, you might not, but if you do, you can rub the palms together. Might feel nice and warm, and you can place that energy where you might need it today or this evening, maybe the head, maybe across the eyes or somewhere physical, maybe a chakra sending love to the world, or you might just want to keep the hands to heart center. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Just so you know, if you wanted to, it's not amazing, but I'm just going to put some stuff on YouTube as well. So if you do find that you've got a little bit of time in the day where you want to do a bit of practice, I will send everyone the link to YouTube. There are a few different exercises on there. There's some chair yoga on there. There's some gentle stuff. So yeah, I'll send that through. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope to see you again. In person would be lovely, but again, online would be great. Any feedback at all, do let me know. Thank you very much, and I hope you sleep well.